Evening, everybody. I am doing the next in my series of endless space tutorials. I wanted to talk about pirates in this particular iteration of the video. First things first, I want to do a quick side jump to a discussion about ship construction. So, what I want to show you specifically is I'm going to assume that you guys have never fiddled with a ship before. I'm going to clear everything out here. So, you have kinetic, beam, and missile weapons. Kinetic weapons fire at all ranges, but they are most accurate at melee range, the last range of combat. Because they're not very accurate, when you do get into melee range, they're very deadly. So if you're confident about being able to get to that point, then you are totally going to dominate with kinetic kinetic shot. Beam weapons are useful at long range. They're pretty accurate, but they don't fire quite as quickly as kinetic. They're good in between in terms of fire rate between kinetic and missile. And lastly are missiles. Missiles deal the most damage of any weapon type in the game. They fire once per phase, and then they take the entire phase to get over there. So if you set up a missile boat, while your missiles are going to do incredible damage, there's going to be completely unopposed damage being dealt to you in all phase. So you have to be really confident about whatever defenses you have in place. Now, generally, the strategy is whenever you're facing a computer or a pirate, you want to send someone over to scout them, which I'm going to show you how to do coming up. But once you figure out what it is that they have, you're going to build a defense against that. It's the most effective strategy. It's just smart, frankly. And it's going to help increase your rate of battle, your win rate in battle significantly. Now, let's just say for the purposes of this, I'm going to be fighting pirates. I really like to use missiles against pirates. And let's say that these pirates are very frequently using beam weapons. So we put in shields. Now that we have these two, you could go back and forth and click a few here and then click a few there and make your way all the way up. Or you can just hit auto upgrade and it will do its best, generally speaking, to balance out between the two. It does take into account ship-specific bonuses. So on this ship, it has support. If I had chosen, for example, this one, the Giga ship class, it has a bonus for armor. Oops, I'm sorry, that's not the one I wanted. This one, sorry, the Peta class. It has a bonus towards defense. The ship, when you hit auto upgrade, the ship is going to try to stuff in more defenses than it does weapons. So you probably want to try to balance that out a bit, put it just a little bit more defense than weapons, because otherwise I've seen things where it's like 11 shields and 2 missiles, and that's just not going to cut it in combat. So, anyways, now that we have these two things relatively well balanced out, normally we'd just click through and hit apply, but I'm not going to change anything, so I'm going to cut out of that. The actual pirate killer that I've assembled is based on, I think this is our destroyer class because it has a bonus to reducing the weight of missiles. Now, for pirate class ships, and this is specific to my race, but I've added a support module to help repair, because pirates can often generate quite a few of them at a time, and the repairs during combat are a big bonus on top of nano repair. By stacking these sorts of things, you can get really great hit point repair rate, and it is fairly effective in my opinion. But anyways, so I've set up the same sort of thing. I have shields and I have missiles, and I have just one less missile than I do missile bank than I do for the other ship. And so these are the ones I'm generally going to be using against the pirates. Now that I've got that out of the way, close that out. So next turn, I'm expecting this set of pirates to come in. Normally, you can just use a scout class because they're very cheap to build. You can even buy one for like, I want to say 80 credits or something like that. They're not expensive at all. And they're really good throwaway ships to use against an opponent to see what kinds of weapons they've got. So I'm going to hit end turn. This pirate's going to come through and he's going to absolutely annihilate this poor innocent protector. But it is for a good cause. Okay, so he's moved into the system. He's trying to attack it. Now we've got this screen. It shows my military power versus his, and when I mouse over it, it shows complete statistics of all ships in the fleet. Now, the thing about pirates you have to be aware of is that because they have so much, they have no defenses. They almost never have any defenses. they have a dramatically higher amount of damage that they're going to be outputting when compared to a computer ship or a human player's controlled ship. So in this case, I'm just going to sacrifice, I'm going to hit auto and let him be consumed by the enemy fleet. Now, remember how I said that I had some shields here? He's actually managed to do enough damage just by himself. That one guy, with a tenth of the power of the enemy fleet, he took out one of their ships, and one of the larger ones as well, I might add. See, this one has 1,200 hit points, this one has 450. So that's just one of those ships. Now, I've got 10 of them here. I'm going to send them over to Dusay, and now we're going to have that same combat again. Only this time, I'm not going to auto it, I'm going to go into manual, because I want to show you what I think is the most effective strategy versus pirates. As I mentioned a moment ago, because they have so much weapons, we want to try to balance out against them by choosing the best defensive options that we have. Now, in this particular case, I don't have the technology available to boost my shields. So instead, I'm going to use Sabotage, Short Circuit, to try to reduce the accuracy of incoming shots in the hopes that enough of them miss that the defenses will at least absorb the rest. Now, I'm going to follow that up with Nano Repair, and you can see all the missiles are launching off. And they're getting absorbed, as you can see. Now, watching the hit points, one of them's taking a little bit of damage. So far, everybody else seems to be absorbing the shots. So barely starting to do a little damage, and I believe I have just annihilated the entire pirate wave. Now, yes, I do outnumber them. But the important thing here is that because I've destroyed them and used Nano Repair at the end, if you look, it's almost completely restored the hit points. And even though there's no battle for the rest of that particular phase, that battle card still goes into effect, which is important no matter who you're fighting. But I took very little damage, and in fact, the victory screen here is going to show that. It shows how efficient your shields are versus the enemy, and this is important for helping determine your technology level versus the enemy's technology level, whether they be pirates or a computer-controlled player, or even humans. And then it tells you how many hit points were lost out of the total fleet. It shows you how efficient your weapons were. Now, I find 84% efficiency a little confusing because I know that they have no defenses. So I think what happens is a couple of the missiles that you fire miss, even though they're in a pretty tight cluster. But regardless, I just annihilated that entire fleet. So now I've got that going for me. Now, the more ships you have in the fleet, the better off you're going to be. So make sure you explore command point technologies, because it's very effective against pirates. Because generally speaking, they're only going to have like maybe 4 in a fleet like they do here. Usually it's 1 or 2, but at the early mid game, which is the point that I'm in, I'm just expanding a little bit out here, and I'm trying to work my way back over here. Now, this brings up another good point that I want to show you. Vega, as a star system, is one that hasn't been explored. Pirate fleets spawn from unoccupied systems that you do not have sensor coverage on. Now, what that means, in effect, is that this planet, and this planet all have the potential to spawn pirates. I believe even this one does, because I haven't really got it under sensor, or in the case of Vega, underneath my control sphere. And even Safe is probably potentially spawning pirates, as could be Ma'ai, I guess we'd have and Osulo. So it's usually valuable to go in and just purchase a couple of those investigators that I mentioned that you should use, your scout ships that you can use against pirates to figure out what it is that they possess on their side. So in this case, what I really want to do, I'm going to put a couple in the queue down here. Purchase, purchase, and purchase. And they're only 97 apiece. It's really not that bad once you get to the mid-game. And you can... Oops. Where did this... Oh, they're going to build next turn, that's right. Anyways. Once they come out, I'm going to send them out to here, to here, to here, and have them scouting. So not only can they see incoming pirate ships like this one, but they'll prevent additional ones from spawning. And then when I'm ready to colonize those systems, I will be there. Now, early on in this particular game, I was trying to get out to Virgo, because this star system is just amazing, and I really, really wanted it in the Empire. but pirates have been spawning, I think from Rhea perhaps, or maybe at Virgo, and they were just swarming around it and I had no hope. And because I've left so many systems over here, I have so many pirates that are just swarming my other star systems, and I believe there's a couple more en route on their way to safe. So that's generally speaking how you're going to take care of pirates. At this point, because I have so many systems that I hadn't conquered or colonized, and they're doing a very effective job of sectioning up my portion of the galaxy, I have 4 different star systems. Actually, in this case, sorry, 5 different star systems. I forgot to say. That are producing ships put together into a fleet. Now, as soon as these are all done, if I feel that I am done with these ships, I could scrap them. If you build up military power too quickly, it will alarm your allies, so you want to be careful about that. But I'll scrap them to get the Desperate Turn back, because it can easily put you in the negative. And that's pretty much how you deal with pirates. Once you colonize these star systems, you'll be fine. They won't really show up anymore. You just don't want to leave anything uncolonized. But if it's, uncolonized near an enemy, screw it, let them deal with the pirates. And that's it.